guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about several books that have just left me saying, what? After I got done reading them. And some of them have kind of just left me like confused in a good way, just because I was just kind of like racking my brain trying to figure out what the heck happened, because the book started off one way and kind of like ended up another way, and my brain is going haywire trying to figure out how the heck am I supposed to interpret what happened. And then the other books were just kind of like, what? I was confused from the beginning. I never understood what was going on from page one, and I basically just didn't like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into this and start with the books that I actually liked and I didn't mind being kind of confused and trying to figure out what was going on, to the ones that I just didn't really like and mesh with. So we will go ahead and get started. So the first one that I have here is Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. And at the time that I read this, I ended up giving this one a 4 stars. It's a very short novella. I think it's barely over 100 pages, but this one is about our main character Sawyer and his friends. They want to prank one of their other friends I think her name was Shayna, and they find this mannequin and they decide that they are going to take the mannequin to her job. She works at a movie theater, and they're going to dress up the mannequin like a person. It already kind of obviously looks like a person, and they're going to put it in the theater and make her think that it's a actual person. And the prank kind of goes left because the mannequin actually gets up and walks out of the theater. Throughout this story, the mannequin / Sawyer begins to kill the friends, and the story kind of like takes off from there, where it's like Sawyer and or the mannequin that is killing these friends, and you're trying to figure out exactly what is going on. And by the end of the story, I was left going, huh? And this was definitely one of the ones where I wanted more, especially when this ended, because I wanted to know why this went in the direction that it went, because I'd never really understood why this was happening and why Sawyer and or the mannequin was doing the things that it was doing. I didn't understand it. I wanted to know why it ended the way that it ended. And I really enjoyed it. It was like as soon as it started, I did not want to put it down. Obviously, it's barely over 100 pages, so you could definitely like finish this in one sitting. But I really enjoyed this one. This was the first thing that I decided to pick up by Stephen Graham Jones, and this was a great, in my opinion, it was a great introduction to his writing and his storytelling, and I really enjoyed this one. Now, I have picked up one other thing by him and did not like it. It was The Final Girls. I believe that's what it was called. The Final Girl or The Final Girls. I ended up DNFing that one. I did not like that. I did not like the writing style for that one. And I have 2 of his other books, but this was phenomenal. And it definitely was one of those books that I feel like just left you questioning what happened in this book well after I read it. Now, I do believe that this has been a hit or miss with people. You are either really going to enjoy this one or this is not going to work for you. But luckily for me, it definitely worked for me. So then the next one that I want to talk about is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. I don't have a physical copy of this one. I read it on my Kindle. And when I read this one, this is another one that I read last year, I gave it a 4 stars. And so this one follows these 2 ladies that correspond through emails and text messages, so it's told in that type of format. And it starts off with this woman, I think it's Agnes, but it starts off with Agnes, who is trying to sell this apple peeler, and she gets a response from this lady named Zoe. So they start corresponding back and forth with each other. Agnes, I believe, has recently come out as gay, and so they kind of start like this strange relationship. Zoe starts having Agnes like do these weird tasks to try to prove herself to Zoe. Agnes, for whatever reason, decides that she's going to perform these tasks that has not so great consequences for her. And so the story just turns real strange. And it's kind of graphic with certain scenes. It's real nasty with some stuff that happens and makes your skin kind of crawl. Oh, the story just is so strange. And at the end of it, it does definitely leave you going, what did I just read? Because that's exactly what I said. But it's one of those stories that will have you sucked in, because I read it in one night. I ended up getting it on my Kindle super late at night. I had seen everybody reading it, everybody talking about it. And I was like, well, let me just go ahead and get it. I'll start it the next day. The cover alone is disgusting. So you should already, I guess, know what you're getting into. But I could not help myself. I ended up reading it as soon as I bought it, and I could not put it down. And by the end of it, I was just so dumbfounded by what I read. And it just kind of makes me wonder, like, what was the inspiration for this? Like, I want to know, but I don't want to know at the same time. So it's, once you pick this up, you are not going to want to put it down. I've already purchased 2 other books by him because I'm just so curious to see what else this author has concocted. But I did enjoy this one. Definitely left confused. Another one that I wish kind of was like longer, because what else happened? What else could have happened to this lady after the ending of that one? But I did enjoy that and can't wait to see what else this author can come up with. So the next one that I have is Sundial by Catriona Ward. And this one, to be honest, I gave it a 3 stars. Not recently, but I read it this year. And I'm still like, what is this? I still don't even really know if I really liked it or what, because this is not what I thought this was gonna be. So we have this mother by the name of Rob who is not connecting with her oldest daughter, Callie. And because of that, she decides that she is going to take her daughter to where she grew up, of Sundial. And what inspires her to end up even taking her daughter out there is because one day she finds like all of these bones in her daughter's room. So I guess that was her last straw with her daughter, those bones. And she was like, okay, I'm going to take you out here and we're going to try to connect with each other. And so it's told in like a then now format, where in the then timeline, we find out what happened to Rob in her past. And that's where the story took a turn. And we start figuring out why Rob is the way that she is and why she might not be connecting with Callie like she wants to. And that's where my confusion started, because I was like, what in the world is this story doing? And this is not the typical mother-daughter not connecting type of story I thought we were getting. And I still confused. And then we started getting these random chapters in here that are called Arrowhead, because the mother, Rob, is, I guess, an author. And she was writing this story, and I guess snippets of her story are in those chapters, but they don't connect, or maybe they do, but I don't know, because I'm still confused. I don't know. And so the then chapters start to connect with the now chapters, and then there are like some dogs that are involved. It's so confusing. But then I'm confused on whether or not I like it. I don't know. So it's like one of those books where you get done with it and you're like, what? And there's like another daughter, because she has 2 daughters. And so you just, I don't know. I still don't know. So, I mean, there are parts of it that I really like. And then there are other parts that I'm just like, I'm still confused on what exactly happened. I have more full thoughts on this book in another review that I did. But yeah, I still, like I said, I still am not sure if I actually like the story. It definitely left quite a bit to be desired by the time I got done with it. But it just didn't turn out the way that I thought it was supposed to turn out. But it was fine. So then these next few that I'm going to talk about, I no longer have copies of because I did not like these. So the next up we have is Baby Teeth by Zoya Stage. And this one is another one that is following a mother-daughter that is not getting along. And so this one is following the mother, Suzette, that is not getting along with her young daughter, Hannah. And at the beginning of the story, we find out that Hannah is not talking, and the mother and father think that there might be something wrong with Hannah, but they take her to the doctors and they find out it's not that Hannah can't talk, it's that Hannah won't talk. And we find out that it's true, Hannah can talk, and she ends up like whispering one day to her mother, and she takes on like this kind of creepy voice, and she I think she says like her name is like Anne Marie, and like she's some witch or something, and then she starts acting out and not being a very good child, and it seems like she only does this behavior in front of her mother. And so of course the story like kind of takes off from there. And the reason why this story just left me confused, it left me more so confused with how the author chose to go forward with this story, because this story could have done so much and the author just didn't take it as far as she could have. It's classified as like a horror, and it could have been, but it just didn't, the author just didn't take it as far as she could have. And there was this book is just so frustrating. I ended up giving this one like a 2 stars. It just had so much opportunity. And I don't like want to spoil anything. Again, this is like one of those books that I went in a lot more detail with. I just had so many problems with this one. It just missed the mark on the horror elements, and the way that it ended. I was just like, what the heck was this? It just wasted so much time. And the mother was so frustrating. This whole book was just so frustrating. And I just like, what was this? There was just a better way to do this. It was just a lot of missed opportunity with this book. Just thinking back on this, and I read this last year. It's been a while since I've read it, but so frustrating. The little girl was bad too, now that I think about it. But it was a lot that could have been done. And this book could have had a lot of horror elements as well. But yeah. It definitely left me confused on why the author just did not take this book as far as she could have. That was what was so frustrating with this one. Another book that left me confused, but it seems like a lot of people like this book and I just didn't get it. And I also rated this one a 2 stars. That is Bunny by Mona Awad. And this one follows our main character, Samantha, and she goes to like this elite grad school, and she gets invited to like this party, I think, like this like gathering by a group of girls that goes by the name of Bunnies, the Bunnies. And she gets like sucked in with this group, and she had this best friend by the name of, I think her name was like Ava, I think. I'm like 80% sure that was her name. And like their relationship kind of like suffered, and she gets sucked in with this group called the Bunnies, and like in that group they got some weird stuff going on, and they be inviting these guys back to the group, and there was some weird stuff going on to what they be doing to the guys. I never really understood what went on there. That was crazy. I can't really say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. And then by the ending of the book was like one of those open-ended endings that made you question everything that was going on. That's all that I'll say. Sometimes I like that. Sometimes I don't. In this situation, I did not like it. I struggled to get through this book. I listened to it on audio. I hated the audiobook. I think I forced myself to listen to this on audio because it was just faster to get through it on audio. But the narration for the different bunnies, the girls in the group, was so annoying because they had like these high-pitched voices. It was so annoying. I'm pretty sure that was done intentionally. I did not like this book. It was so weird. I did not understand what was going on. And that probably is a me thing. This book, I was literally confused. I was so confused on what was going on. Like, I kind of get it. I was so confused. And like the guys that they were taking back with them, I don't know. I was so confused. And just the ending I didn't care for. But I don't know if you guys should take my word for it on this one if you have not read it, because so many people like Bunny, but me, no. I was confused from page 1. So that one did not work for me. And then the last one that I read, I also read that one at the same time that I read Bunny for a particular video, which that was a big mistake, but I rated this one 1 star, and that was Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. And this was like a hit or miss with people. Obviously it was a miss with me, but this one also follows some people at an elite school, and it's really like hard to get into this school. And like once you get there, like you have no contact with the outside world. You don't have contact with your family. You're not allowed to like have like your cell phone. You can't wear any of like the clothes that you had before you got there. It's really strict. Like when you are at the Catherine House, you are at Catherine House. You have nothing to do with anything before you got there. And so we follow the main character, Inez, as she is at Catherine House. We literally follow her for the 3 years she is at Catherine House. We literally follow her every day for 3 years, morning, noon, and night, as she is going through her classes with different classmates at Catherine House. There are certain moments throughout this book that had me intrigued because you could see like cult-like tendencies through this book. They at certain points go to like, I think it was like these dinners, and they do like certain chants, and that was like interesting. There's like some underlying experimentations that they talk about that was like intriguing, but you don't get like enough of that at all, because all we're doing is literally following them morning, noon, and night. Year 1, year 2, year 3, and it's over. What did I read? Did I miss something? I'm pretty sure I missed something in that book. I don't know what it is. Do I want to reread it to figure it out? No, I don't. I don't know. I was so confused. Not only was I confused, I was bored. Nothing happened. I was so sad. I was so sad at the time that I was reading Bunny in Catherine House. That was the longest, like, 2-week time period of my life, because that was how long it took me to read those books. Oh my God. So yeah, I was really confused by the time I got done with that, because I did not understand. I didn't understand what I was supposed to get from that. I didn't get it. So needless to say, I did not like that book, and I didn't understand the purpose. Nor did I really try that hard to figure it out. So that literally is all that I have for the books that I have read between last year and this year so far, that have just literally left me confused on what the heck happened. So I will leave videos listed down below where I go into way more in depth than I did in this video, in case you guys are curious. But that is all that I have for you guys, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.